Welcome to InspireHer on the Achievement Channel, the show where we amplify the voices and journeys of women who rise, reinvent, and redefine what's possible. I'm your host, Atinuke Odjenima, a leadership coach and advocate for personal growth. With me are two phenomenal co-hosts, Dr. Christie Amida, renowned real estate leader, social impact advocate, and executive director at Lekki Gardens, widely known as the energy goddess for her passion to transform lives, and Ngozi Ochuba, seasoned pharmacist and wellness enthusiast, championing growth and reinvention in midlife. The Achievement Channel is Nigeria's 100% motivational channel, bringing you stories that uplift, empower, and inspire. And we are broadcasting today from the School of Eloquence studio here in Ikoyi, Lagos. Today's episode, Learn and Rise, goes beyond classroom learning. It's about the woman who never stops growing, whether she's returning to school at 50, picking up a digital skill, or learning from life's disruptions. Learning is not a finish line. It's a restart button for reinvention, relevance, and resilience. Welcome, ladies, to another episode of InspireHer. Welcome.
Thank you, Atinuke.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And today we'll be talking on the topic on learn and rise. Learn and rise. What does that? I mean, how does that click to you?
Well, from where I see it, it's more about the more you know in terms of knowledge being power, the more you can operate, the more you can make things happen. So if your cup is empty, how do you pour into somebody? So learning translates to rising because you're able to give based on what you have. When you impact a community, when you impact a number of girls, for instance, I run a foundation, giving to those girls, the younger ones, enables them to give back to their community. There's a saying that when you train a woman, you actually train a nation. So being able to give back to a girl, for me, by the donations of power, by educating them in class to understand about their hygiene when it comes to feminine management of their menstrual cycle and all of that, when it comes to their bodies, enables them to also give back to their society, because really if they're in bed and too weak to participate, they can't do much. They can't do much around sports, they can't do much around helping in the house, they can't do much around helping their families, whether in business as per contributing to work, in the household. So for me, learning is empowering you, enabling you to pour into somebody else. So that's for me what it is. And then you're able to rise and grow.
I mean, from what you've said, it occurs to me now that you can't give what you don't have.
Exactly.
So the more, if you know, if you don't learn it, you don't know it.
Exactly.
And if you don't know it, you can't rise. You can't move beyond where you are. Right?
Yeah.
So for women now, how would we encourage, inspire women, whether young or old or in their 50s, at whatever age that they are in? How do we encourage it? I think it's more it's a little easier for younger women. So when learning becomes difficult for women is when we're thinking that, well, I beg me, I've read, I've gone to school, you go and do the rest. Or, like I'm too old to learn, I'm too old to do this. And meanwhile, it's capping
what you don't face a limit on yourself.
Okay.
No matter the age, there's this common saying that goes, it's never late to learn. And the truth is that the mind, the heart is always open to new experiences. And even research has it that the more you apply yourself, the more you try to learn, you read, that the brain has a way of also building new connections. So you find out that you become more than you were when you open yourself to learn new things. For example, we just talked about tech in one of the episodes. We all were not born tech experts, but we've all learned to manage our phones, our laptops, key into many apps, and we are finding our ways through it. That means our brain Remember, our tech was not, a long time ago, tech wasn't there, we were born in those days. Yeah. So now our brains are building these connections to be able to manage these intricacies. Awesome. So the more you learn, the stronger you become, you build more connections in your brain. You are able to think, you know, your thinking process is enhanced, and you do bigger things, you do more things. So you rise, you grow, you become a better person. So you're able to make meaningful impact at the present situation, you know, in the times of today. So no matter what the age is, for me anyway, I don't see myself as old anyway, I'm sorry. So I keep learning.
Excuse me, how old are you?
I'm in my
teenager.
50s, but I feel like I'm just
No, you're 13.
Okay. No, seriously, because I mean, if you limit yourself and you stop learning, you start feeling old. And you know what meaning old means? An old car, an old house, old just sounds like you are not useful anymore.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, you have so much. You have a lot of experiences that people need to learn from.
Say that again.
People you need to impact.
Say that again. Because when people are that 50s, 60s, they think they've got nothing to offer again. You have ideas, you have lessons, you have experiences
that you can share.
That you can share for younger women to learn, so that they can rise quickly. You know, leveraging on your own
experience.
Exactly.
So what you do with the experiences you have, so you learn new things to enhance what you already know. So you're building on what you have. That experience is what the young ones don't even have. So whatever you're learning plus the experience you have is like, you produce a masterpiece.
So which means that there are already things we know.
A lot.
Definitely.
There are already things we know. So learning, what learning now does is that you building up on what you already know in order for you to move to the next, rising.
Yes, like they say, for every level there is a devil, like a new devil. That's how they say it. Yes, it's true. So the truth is, what you know enables you to play at the next level in life. If you think primary school is enough, then it means you've ignored the fact that you're never going to go to secondary school. And if you don't go to secondary school, you've limited yourself from going to higher institutions, like, of course, the polytechnics and the universities. And if you limit yourself in that sense of, oh, I've gotten my first degree, and you do not want to study further to get a master's in that sense of knowing more about a particular field, you have shortchanged yourself. It means whatever you're given, like I said earlier, will be limited. So you want to be in a space where you are equipped for the level, so you can deal with the devil that you're going to be, handling. When I talked about the foundation, for God's sake, I had gone to school, I understand how to run a business, but the truth is that the foundation for me was a different sphere. It's a whole new level. You want to know why this is happening to the girl. So you need to create partnerships. So there's a part where there's classroom learning, but there's another part that's about life learning and collaborations. If you limit yourself from, getting into new partnerships, new collaborations that would have helped you to achieve more. And I mean, if you're not learning, like we already saying, you're not going to rise to the occasion that is different. Yes.
There's this thing I always say, that when people know, they do better.
Yeah, when you know, you do better.
So
very true.
You can't do at the level, you can't perform better than
the level of
of your capacity, the knowledge you have. Yes.
So which means that there is a part of rising that is totally dependent on learning. That's what it means. Meaning that if you do not, you can't perform you
can't perform beyond your level of capacity or ability. You cannot perform above your knowledge. It's impossible. So for you to handle a new project, for instance, you might need to get a new skill. Like she was talking about IT, being able to use a laptop. You don't take a newbie on your team and you don't teach them how to operate a laptop. It's not something that is taught in our universities on a regular basis. It might just be a theoretical approach. But for you to give them that job where they have to analyze numbers or data, you need to give them a laptop. And you don't just dump it on them. You have to show them how to operate the damn thing. Sorry for my language. But the truth is, it's what they know that they will give you: garbage in, garbage out.
So bringing it back to women, right, and learn and growing, you just need to be deliberate. You just need to be intentional. If you want to be more, you want to do more, you want to give more, then you have to keep learning. You must move from one level to the next. You don't stop. You have to be restless. except you like a boring life, you know. I don't think anybody wants to live a boring life. I don't know if there's anybody like that. And you know, the society sometimes will make it look like you get to an age, 50, 60, 70, you're no more useful. It's not true. Even for the men, I know that fast food joint, KFC, I learned it was the owner launched it at 70-something years or 80-something years.
In fact,
so I mean,
even
if somebody can start a new thing altogether, you know, pivot from your regular career at the age of 80, then I mean, for goodness sake, why is 50 not young? Why can't 50 do new things, learn new things? And you know, there's this fulfillment and satisfaction that comes from knowing that you're very relevant.
Yeah.
And you have to be relevant to be. How do you move along and you feel useless?
You know, my mom is someone that, when I was saying, in fact, I met my mother in the business of fashion. She had a fashion house where she trains girls. Every time she has about 20 girls per time that she's raising in the fashion business, you know, how to make dresses and all of that.
Did you catch that?
Of course, there's a bit of me. You can see me like. So along the line, Mom kind of retired from the business somewhere around when she turned 50. I'm saying this because you mentioned 50 to 70. And she was in that space where she felt like, oh, she's done one part of her life and it was over. And she was mostly at home. She's someone that likes to, read, watch TV. But engaging her, I noticed that she will read the book and stop halfway and like, there's this word I don't understand. I don't even know what, they're really saying there. So I'm not reading anymore. So she had piles of books that she wanted to read, but she felt limited. And by the time I got to engage, I realized, oh, wait a moment, your education stopped at a certain level. You need to go back to school. If you go back to school, you can enjoy all the books that you want to read. So that was the catch for her. Oh, I get to enjoy all the books I'd like to read. I said yes. And then we agreed. Yes, right? My mom went back to school. Wow, so at 50 years in Nigeria, and then of course she furthered in America.
What's this show again? Inspire her. No, so honestly, let's celebrate your mom. You know, that's good. She went back to school.
Yeah, she did. And now, you give her medication. She's 70 now. She reads it and like, no, I'm not going to take that.
I mean, even like the fact that you're sharing because someone watching, someone watching could is most likely be at the point of saying, okay, you know what, I'm almost a grandmama, I'm even a grandma and all of that. But sharing this as a real life story.
Right now, she's a voracious reader. She reads everything because she has the ability to do it. So it's more about gaining a skill. It's not about getting a certificate. So I hate the fact that we stereotype learning to classrooms. It's something that we need to deviate from. Yes, go into the classrooms, create a career, reading, studying, but also come out from the classroom, get life skills, get to understand what's really going on around you so you can participate effectively and you can produce. Bible says, one will chase 1,000, two will chase 10,000. It's how sharpened you are in your partnerships. That's what will make you get more from any venture you attempt to be a part of. So for me, learning is about increasing your skill. Learning is about knowing more so that you can be empowered to make things happen.
You know, that's one interesting thing I love so much about goal setting. About having a vision, having a vision and setting goals, because for each new goal or in any area of your life that you are, for each new goal that you want to achieve, there's a place of learning. It will compel you.
Goal changes you on the journey,
because there's a new set of skills that you will need to be able to advance to get that thing.
Correct.
Do you get it now? So it's practically lifts you from where you are to where you ought to be, in process, in steps, right? So maybe because I'm in the leadership development space, so everything's always about purpose, goals, and all of that. And maybe it could also be a good time, because if we encourage women to say, okay, set goals for yourself. Okay, I want to start making money. Do you know that I want to start making money will make them to become more active? Do you see? To make them to make a shift. Items there. Okay, so I want to be selling soap. Then they'll go to learn, how do I make soap?
Or even
acquisition of skill.
you learn the different types of soap because
Wait, they even learn the soap. Guess what? Now they have the soap already made, bottled, you know, and now they have issues with selling it to their neighbors. They don't know how to market. They need to learn marketing skills, so that, you know, they can make the money that was a goal that they wanted to make money. You know, that's just my own contribution to it. And guess what? As they set the goals and they are learning, you know, acquiring new skills, moving from one what's it called, in terms of their improvement, moving from one level to another, guess what? They are rising.
Exactly. You know, I like to say that I'm one person that doesn't believe that my what should be about what I do. For me, it's about who I am, because it's what I put inside me that makes me who I am. And so I can navigate one profession to another profession, one project to another project. I can align, I can dimension because of who I am. You know, so limiting yourself to what you can do, what you are doing. Oh, I'm a banker, so because you're a banker,
you are just stuck.
So you define yourself as a banker, and that's it. No, you can do much more. Banking is just one of the things that you can do. So take time. That's what I believe, to say this is who I am because of what I just put into myself now.
Should I quickly just say something? Because you know that the difference between who you are and what you can do or what you do is that one is internal and the other one is external. Okay, but guess what? The external one is what we most times describe ourselves to be. So now, knowing who you are, did you hear what I said? Knowing. Because even wanting to know who you are even requires some form of learning.
Or who you are becoming. Or you can even put it as who you're becoming, because you know what you are evolving into.
Correct.
You know who you want to become. Maybe you are not already exactly what you want. You want to be more. So when you know who you are becoming, it will help you know where to focus your energy, the things you should learn, the skills you should acquire. Okay, as a pharmacist, for instance, you know, if you look at pharmacy profession, the way it evolved years back, like some 20-30 years back, when we started pharmacy, it was more like just stay behind the counter and dish out drugs. But the profession itself started evolving. At a point, the pharmacist is no more just counting pills, just following a prescription. A prescription comes to you, you just follow it and you dish out the drug and the job is done. So it was more like transactional. Can I do this? Simple. But at a point, it evolved to be transformational, where you are now making impact in people's lives. People come, you're not just dishing out drugs, you are sitting down with the client, asking questions. You need to develop skills. You have to have communication skills.
Sure.
Right.
You have to have a new knowledge of the diseases, the drugs. So you find out that there's a holistic
add marketing to it now. You don't know how to market here.
Marketing, you need to even be able to read
that's where the communication comes in.
You need to be able to read the emotions of the person you're talking to.
Communication is different from marketing. Some people can speak they can, you know, they can approach, they are confident, but they lack the marketing skills. You know,
it's one thing for Christie to come to the pharmacy and the doctor has already written, give her 10 tablets of paracetamol, give her 2 tablets of this, and I just take it, give it to Christie. She knows if she took it. But by the time I engage her, I might even find out that Christie has been having these prescriptions and she's not been using them. And I begin to, make her open up. And I realize that her problem might not even just be the drugs. There's an emotional aspect to it. And we talk about it and I encourage her. And then I can now see that I have encouraged her to now become ready to help herself take those medications. Because she could just take them and
like in mind reset.
This is learning within your own
within the same profession. Because if you refuse to move away from that traditional setup, you find out that nobody will be coming to you because things are changing.
That brings us to every profession has its own area of learnings, So we will conclude on this flow of thoughts. Let's go on a short break.
All right.
Thank you.
Eloquence focuses attention on the message and the audience.
I found it very interesting, exciting, educative.
It was very beneficial.
Definitely would learn a lot, a whole lot.
Thank you. The delivery was second to none.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
Speak with power.
So thank you so very much, Ngozi, for sharing, you know, the learning in pharmacy. So like you were saying to Christie about when you came into the social impact sector, right? You said it's a total new field. How did you, you know, what were the new learnings you had for you to really get yourself established in that sector?
Oh, okay. So really, one that's into real estate. So moving into, I mean, non-profit. Real estate is, of course, you're making money. So approaching a non-profit arrangement was, for me, I don't want to call it strange, because really it came from a place of I want to give back. And so I was ready for the challenges of giving back. I mean, you're not expecting anything in return. But I also had to learn, like you said, communicating, listening differently, listening for the pain that the person is, the burden the person is carrying. People don't want to talk about their health. It's a very sensitive issue.
Yeah, true.
So that level of sensitivity of the area that I'm focused on is something I had to learn how to also manage. So you're patient. To get a girl to talk about her menstrual health, you need to take your time. You are a stranger. There are myths around the conversation. It's a very private matter. It's like asking a woman for her EDD. When are you going to deliver? You know, when is your baby coming through? In Africa, you don't do that. So for this setting, I had to learn how to be more conscious of sensitive issues around the girl speaking. So that's something I had to learn, communicating differently. So I was able to transit because I learned a new form of communication. I hope.
I mean, very well, very well. Because because you know she's in the real sector, and so she's moving into a new thing. So pivoting a different. So what were the learnings for her? So now, look at what's it called now? There are different learning styles, and I think it's peculiar to each and every one of us. I mean, let's talk about that, because some people will say, oh. Okay, let me just cite an example. I have a friend. If she wants to know anything, she buys the book, she gives it to me to read.
Interesting.
So yes, because I learn better when I read than when I hear.
Okay.
Because we need, so people struggle with learning because there's a way they learn that they have not found out that they learn. So I internalize better with reading. So if you want to say, if you're saying something too much, I'm just hearing you, but I'm not really, but I learn absorbing it. I learn better when I read. So unlike that, my friend, she's an audio person.
Okay.
So she goes to class, she goes for lectures, she listens, and she's ready for exam.
Wow.
Unlike me, I will go for lectures, and it's not yet enough for me until I open my books and read. So because you know, I said it that our rising, you know, our moving forward, our progressing, you know, is attached to our learning. So if then there's a struggle, we're having struggle learning, then which means that there's a way we learn that we have not found out. Another instance, you know, some people learn, no matter how much you teach them out, you have to, no matter how much you teach them right on the board, they want to understand it until you show them. They learn by practical example. So, you know, see me do it. This is how I do it. I pour this, and they are learning.
Shadowing,
You know, they are learning it right there. Okay, so we all need to identify our different learning
methods
style.
approach.
You know,
But you know, the truth is this: you've really not learned something if you cannot apply it, if you can't do it. You know, anybody can pick up like I'm in the pharmacy space. We can pick up book about symptoms of malaria, for example. But by the time 3 clients come to me and talk about their symptoms, if I cannot identify which is malaria out of the 3, that means I know the theory, but I'm not even able to figure it out in real life.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to pick up a book on architecture and read about drawings. Another thing to actually sit down and produce a masterpiece. And that takes us to different levels of learning. You have the basic level, and you have somebody that is like a master in the art. So you just keep growing. So when it comes to learning, from what it's because of the styles you're saying. You brought in the styles of learning. I believe that the only time you can say you have learned something, it's when you are able to apply that thing.
Apparently, because if you can't apply it, then you can't rise.
So if
your rising is dependent on your application.
The book and you've not practiced, you just have knowledge. You don't have the skill.
Well,
you don't have the skill.
So that's where the approach now really matters. Around Africa, they say if you want to hide something from an African man, you put it in a book, because we will not open that book. We will not read it. We find it very difficult to open our books and read them. In fact,
because learning is not really fun.
Learning is really noisy, but you have to bring the fun part of it.
You have to make it fun. Sometimes it shouldn't be fun, actually. Well, reading is one of the lasting ways of warehousing information, harnessing or extracting information. Is one of the most powerful ways, most potent ways of learning, But of course, there are other ways, like you said, your friend, you approaching it from audio side, listening to the lecturer speaking, or, maybe listening to a tape of late, or maybe something maybe playing out on YouTube. And there are other people that also learn from graphics, graphical learning. But what we're doing here today, if one woman is watching, is mentorship. And when you spoke about somebody watching another person, I said shadowing. You actually learn. The Igbos do it so well. They take on somebody, a younger person, into their space, whatever business they are doing, maybe selling, spare parts dealership, or they're selling.
Igbos do it very well in business.
Yeah, so they bring on someone, and the person comes in from maybe a very
there's someone who's still in the university, still studying.
Exactly, yes, so they bring that person around them, just staying around them, watching how it is done.
And that's another
over a period of time. Yes.
It's actually
sometimes I think it's about the area, the kind of skill that you're trying to transfer. That you now look at it and say, how do I really pass this on to the person? So it's good for us to take a step backward and say, okay, we're asking women to learn, we're asking women to grow. In what area? So talking about the areas will now help us dimension.
No, area of learning is dependent on individual.
It depends on what your goals are,
on your interest.
On your interest. The things you want to do with the skills
Absolutely, I agree. But sometimes someone sees another person doing something, I'm like, oh, I like that, I admire it, I would like to be like that person. Mentorship comes in from that point. The person has seen something or someone that they want to be like, So it's in that area. Once you understand this is where the person is going, then you can now say, how do we apply knowledge transfer? What method of knowledge transfer? It can be one way, it can be a combination of methods, so it goes back to what they're really trying to learn.
Okay, so I want to believe that we treating this topic at this episode is actually to encourage, inspire a woman, women generally to learn. So I said learning isn't fun, because why would you want to hide something from a black man? Put it in a book. So why don't we read books? Why don't we learn? So learning, we must also say that learning is not only through reading. Learning also is through observation.
Correct.
So which I think we mentioned it, right? So how do we then make learning fun? How do we make learning fun? So how do we, because we need to inspire and encourage, so that a woman will watch this tonight and say, okay, you know what, let me go pick that book to read. I would give an example to say that, and which actually lured me into studying. And what has sustained me again to keep learning is the joy, the difference I see, the difference in knowledge gap. I said that, I didn't used to know this before. I read a book, or I attended a seminar, or a conference, or a workshop, or I had a mentor, opened my eyes to see, and now I know. It's interesting. It sparks, you know, it sparks excitement in me. So guess what? It now leads me to go further, and which is actually one of the reasons, or you know, of learning. So as you're going further, you are rising, right? So one of the things that lured me to learning, to learning, reading for me in particular, and also going for conferences, because you get to a point where you've read, but now you want to hear, you want to see, you want to feel, you want to really say that, oh yeah, I've seen people. So imagine someone else saying the things you have read. You understand? Saying in that area to say, oh. So what lured me as an individual, you know, because I want to really encourage someone, to be honest. Say, okay, it's also hard. Start from your area of interest. So I had questions, and I was looking for answers. So I was looking for answers in books. I was looking for answers in people. I was hungry because there was something I wanted to know. So for women now, how then do we encourage them to learn?
You see, you know, when you learn, like we said, when you know, you can't pour from an empty cup. The impact you make, the value you bring, will open doors to you. What you know, there are some skills you will acquire. Yes, it might be difficult. The learning process is not easy to grow. You understand? Growing is like leaving your comfort zone.
True.
But you have to prepare your mind for that, knowing that it's for the better. By the time you are able to put in the energy and the work and the time, and you know, call it the discomfort, and you acquire that skill, and people are willing to pay you. And you can imagine if you used to earn like 100,000 and you acquire a skill and somebody is willing to pay 1 million for the same you in less than 3 months. By the time you collect that 1 million, you'll be hungry for something bigger. So before you know it, you're going back to learn something else. Because wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you find out that there are some gaps you will notice. People want somebody to do something, but there's nobody to do it. And you know that if you apply yourself, you'll be able to acquire the skills to do this. So by the time you acquire that skill, that means whatever you're doing now, you're going to do something even more, and you're going to earn even more. So you find out you impact, you add value to others, and you even become more of who you want to be. And I think that should bring joy and fulfillment. Knowing that people are opening doors to you because of the value you bring to them.
So it's more about aspiring. There has to be somehow like a vision of where they are headed.
And you know, all these things, I'm just thinking, you know, learning, rising, and all of those. I mean, you know, I was just thinking, because it takes a lot of discipline, determination to even want to learn anything at all.
It's a lot of determination.
You know why? Some people will say, oh, they want to learn tailoring, right? They start tailoring for 6 months. They start it the 3rd month. They don't go anymore. Okay, so people have mentors. They want to observe them. They want to roll with them, you know, and watch them do the things. And maybe one anger or, you know, or something that the mentor did to offend the mentee or something, then he or she stops going. So, you know, yeah, true, these are practical things. Then we pick a book, we don't finish it, you know, have knowledge. We need. So what are the things that we should try to encourage people to start learning and to remain consistent in learning? Another thing I'll just quickly chip in is in your area of interest. What's your area of interest? No matter how irrelevant you think it is, whatsoever thing you think is irrelevant, what is it? So cooking, learn how to cook now. Use YouTube. So many YouTube videos on how to cook whatsoever, right? Is learning. Watching YouTube too is learning.
Is cooking. Will anybody say cooking is irrelevant?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that.
How much money that's in
why would cooking be relevant? We eat every day. Okay, what is an irrelevant thing?
There's nothing. It depends on how all these things are done and managed. Even packing waste is irrelevant. Okay, let the waste not be packed, and nobody will exist anymore.
So, and that's why I like what you said about we already know something. And learning is building on what we already know. No. So what is it that we know? Because what we know is in an area of our interest, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So starting from your area of interest, you know, on a good day for me, learning is about what motivates the person to learn. is
I like that. What motivates?
Yeah, there has to be a motivating factor. Yes. When I spoke about my mom, I'm like, you want to read, you're going to have, I mean, the ability to read all the books that you want to read. You know, for that woman selling on the roadside, I mean, she's selling, let's say, regular rice and stew arrangement. If she knows that acquiring a new skill will help her own her own restaurant that is decent, it will motivate her because she's on a journey.
Awesome.
When she's able to relate with the journey, it's easier for her to pour herself and say, oh yes, I'm going through a difficult season, but this is the final destination. I'm going to have my restaurant. Do you get me? So it's the motivation. So if we're able to put motivating factors before the person, engage them correctly and say, this is what you will become on this journey.
Be able to do.
It fails them.
Oh, I like that. I think that it's motivation for them to learn. Else, people will not move from where they are, isn't it? And we cannot overemphasize the importance, of course, or the reward of learning, and which is what you keep rising, you keep going, you keep progressing, right? Thank you so very much, ladies. I mean, what would be your final words? Your final words to any woman, young, old, or struggling to learn. And meanwhile, their rising is dependent on their learning. What would you say to them?
I think it's still what I said earlier, really. You cannot give what you don't have. And a woman is wired to give. We give to make communities work. Men, they are wired to protect and provide. But a woman is wired to give herself. If you want to give yourself, you have to give yourself in a valuable way. So it's what you put in there. Like I said earlier, garbage in, garbage out. And you can give at level 1, but you want to give at level 10. So you need to think about all of the things you want to be in life, all of the people you want to impact in life, and say, I want to give at this level, and so I want to grow at this level. So look at yourself and say, what do I want to become? Because becoming is the enabling factor for you. If you can become, then you can actually give to the society or to the people that you love in the way that you want to give to them. So I'd just say, please, don't ever think it's enough in terms of you not continuing in the growth path. Always look for something that you want to add to yourself because of the next person that you want to impact in a valuable way. And that's it for me.
Wow. Awesome.
Okay, for me, I want to talk especially to the women that think they are too old to learn. Because, like I said earlier, you're never too old to learn. And this is not just saying, it's not just talking, it is proven, it is research based, that the more you learn, the more your brain is like able to learn new things and stay young. In fact, research has shown that the more you engage yourself mentally, then you are able to reduce your risk of all these memory-related diseases like Alzheimer's disease, where people lose their memory, they don't remember their family members. But once your brain is active and you're learning new things, your neurons are still connecting and building, you are like as active as a young person. Your brain is as young as that of a young person. So why do you want to stop learning? And no matter the age, learning brings fulfillment. When you are able to do things for others and for yourself because of the skills you have acquired, it brings joy. So why do you want to deny yourself of that fulfillment? Why do you want to be kept aside and forgotten as like an old person that is no longer useful? The truth is that we should aspire to keep doing, to keep learning, to keep becoming till the last day.
Absolutely. Keep becoming till the last day. I would wrap it up with, they say to live is to learn. So the day you stop learning, you die. And no one dying in this case now, not necessarily that physical death, but you will not be relevant. You will not even move or grow beyond where you currently are. So I would just say that women should find a motivation for them to learn, because their growth, they are becoming, they are rising is dependent on their learning. Thank you so very much, ladies. I had a wonderful time. And of course, trust me, I learned one or two things.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So please keep watching Achievement channel to keep learning. Thank you.
I just want to advise you, it is best for you to keep watching the Achievement channel.
Thank you for joining us today on InspireHer. We hope you're walking away reminded that it's never too late to learn, to pivot, or to rise. Whether it's a small course or a new habit or a fresh perspective, every step you take towards growth matters. Special thanks to my incredible co-host, Dr. Christie Amida and Ngozi Ochuba, for their wisdom, and to you, our amazing viewers on Achievement channel. Remember, learning is your bridge to reinvention, your key to resilience, and your pathway to purpose. Let's continue the conversation. Follow at Achievement channel on Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter, and YouTube for more InspireHer content and updates. Use the hashtag #WeSeePossibilities and share your thoughts with us. Until next time, keep learning, keep rising, and keep inspiring.